we've all been thirsty, right? And you think of a time where you've just been dying for thirst. I mean, dying of thirst, dying for something to drink. Maybe you've been outside on a summer day or been practicing some sport or something like that, and you're just, you know, it's all you think about. I just can't wait to get some water, some Gatorade or Power, whatever it is. That's all you think about. I mean, it consumes you. You know, I mean, it's the focal point of your mental energy. That's all you think about. And I think we all can relate to that from a physical standpoint, but I bet you can relate to it from a spiritual standpoint. Have any of you ever been in what is, I've heard a lot of people call a dry time? You ever heard of dry times? Do you know what I'm talking about when I say that? You may be having one right now. You know, we all have those times where we feel close to God. Maybe you come back from a youth trip or, you know, spiritual emphasis day or something like that. And some people say those mountaintop experiences, man, you're on fire for God. It's awesome. You know, everything's going great. But we also have the opposite of that sometimes, where you just feel like it's just flat. And, you know, you just feel distant from God. God doesn't hear you. It's dry time. It's like going through the desert. I bet most everybody in here can probably relate to that. You may be having one right now. You may have gotten up today and you don't think about God. You know, you're thinking about the test you've got to do or the homework you got to finish before chapel starts or, you know, whatever it is. And it's just kind of you just get into a rut and a routine where it's just noise. Really, your whole relationship is just noise because you just hear it and it just kind of bounces off. And you may not even realize it, but you feel discontent. I mean, you just feel unsettled, and that's those dry times. There's a story in the Bible here that I know all of you know. And it's in John chapter 4. And it's talking about the Samaritan woman at the well. I went back and reread that this morning a couple of times just to get a good feel for it. And you all know that story. I'm not going to recount it for you, but there's a couple of things that strike me in that story. One was, and I've heard this point before, you know, that the lady goes and she's not expecting anything unusual. She's going to the middle of the day because she's probably not well thought of in the community. Doesn't want to face a lot of folks because by facing them, she's got to face her past. So she just tries to avoid everybody. I mean, she's going through this dry time, you know, spiritually and literally, because she's bringing her water jug. She gets there, and this guy, first of all, guys don't, the men don't talk to the women, and certainly Jews didn't talk to Samaritans. And this guy's asking her for a drink. Unusual. That shouldn't have happened. You know, it just didn't happen in their culture. Well, they get to talking. You know the story, right? Well, she gets so excited about the things that Jesus is telling her and just about his genuineness and the way that he seems to really care about her and know about her and is kind to her that she forgets her water jug. Have you ever caught that? She runs back to town and leaves her water jug there. She forgot what she was about. You know, we can all relate to being really, really physically thirsty, and to a point, you know, at some point, if you don't satisfy that, it becomes your total focus in life above everything else. I mean, eventually you'll die if you don't satisfy that. So she came up there and she was thirsty, but when she heard about the living water, it just, the physical thirst pales in comparison. Okay? So the point is, she found something that was spiritually satisfying. Something that quenched that dry time, that spiritual thirst that she had. But I found something else in there when I was reading this morning that I'd never really thought of before. Never heard it, just kind of jumped out at me. she ran back to town. If you read through the rest of the story, when she got back there, she tells everybody, hey, there's a dude out here that just told me everything I've ever done. He knows all. You need to come. This guy, this is the Christ. This is the Messiah. Because Jesus had told her, you know, I'm him. He didn't say that a lot, but he said it to her. And so she was telling everybody, I've met the guy. I've met the Messiah. I've met him. Well, they all believe it. And they go out and, you know, they persuade him, you know, please stay, please stay. So he ends up staying 2-3 days in their town. He didn't do that a lot either. And the Bible said that almost everybody in town believed because of the things he said to them. Now, I don't know if it's, you know, if I can draw an accurate conclusion here or not, but I do know that the Bible doesn't tell us anywhere that he did any miracles. It's easy to believe, you know, when they're out there and, you know, doing all these, raising people from the dead, feeding 5,000 people, that's all cool stuff, man. That'll get your attention. These people were so starved for Christ that they believed him, the whole town, because of what he said. They didn't need some, you know, great miracle. They didn't need him walking on water. They were looking. And when they saw him and heard him, that's all it took. You know, Matthew 5:6 says, blessed are they who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. If you're thirsty and hungering, that's an active thing. You're out there and you're digging and you're searching and you're pushing. The question I want to ask you is, how thirsty are you? Sometimes you go through those dry times and you don't even realize it. And you don't even care. But if you are, you know, the Bible promises us that if we are pursuing those things, we'll be satisfied. People in that town, they were eager, they were anxious to hear the things of God. And when they saw it in a man, they heard the things that he said, that was all it took. He changed the whole town. We all go through those dry times. I don't understand it. I'm not sure why it happens. But it seems to be a common thing for all Christians. That, you know, we have these closer times and these times where it can be almost discouraging. Where you question your faith, where you know, you just feel like you're just plodding along and you wonder, you know, God, where is the plan? I thought you said you had a plan. I thought you said you were never going to leave me. I thought you said you were close. I thought you said you heard me. The important thing to remember is God's attitude toward us, the way he deals with us, his sovereign power. Nothing about God depends on us. It doesn't depend on how we feel. It doesn't depend on what we think. Nothing that we do alters the nature of God. And so no matter how dry it is, no matter how distant you feel, God tells us that he hears us, that he never leaves us. That, you know, our feelings don't change God. They don't change the fact that God loves us, that he hears us. And it doesn't change the fact that if we hunger and thirst after righteousness, even through those dry times, that we will be satisfied. That's a promise from God. It's hard to push through sometimes. And we all like to do things from an emotional level. And sometimes it takes an intellectual level. I am making a decision to continue on this path. Even though I feel like you can't hear me, God, I know you do. I don't feel like you're close to me, God, but I know you are because you said that. I don't feel like there's a plan for my life. I feel like I'm out there stumbling around and there's no direction. But I know you've told me that, and so I'm going to believe it.